Good morning, variables. Good morning, friends. It's a very nice day out there today. I heard that it's going to go up to 80 degrees today. So, enjoying the beautiful weather. Here at MABA, especially with beautiful scenery. Today, I'm going to continue my talk. This year, the assigned topic is to bring harmony to the society. So before we can do that, we have to do some homeworks, how to do it. So last time, just a brief review of my last talk. Last time when I did the talk is during Qingming Festival, and we talked about that there are a lot of things going on around the world. So almost every day, Qingming is a festival that we remember or pray or memory of those who suffered and passed. So we talk about, there are a lot of things going on around this world at this point. For example, there are wars, gunshots almost every day, accidents, pandemic. Good thing that we just getting over it. Sickness, and then disaster. So all these are nothing but suffering, which is the first noble truth that the Buddha taught. Some of these sufferings are human-made by our actions. Some are what we call the natural disasters. But let's think about it. Are they really natural disasters? Did we contribute any of them? For example, global warming. Is it natural disaster that nothing to do with our actions? Okay. How about sickness? We say that, oh, okay, this is a natural process. Person gets birth, got born, gets sick, old age. But are we really taking good care of our own body and mind? Did we contribute to those suffering at all? Not to mention wars, not to mention accidents. Are we really driving very cautiously and consciously? Are we getting mad at the person who cut in front of us? So think about it. How many that are because of our contribution? So this is what we talked about last time. And what are the causes for those suffering that we contribute to happen? One of the main reasons is what we call conflicts. Conflicts among countries, because we are fighting for territories, fighting for resources, people fighting because of material or even non-material things. Hey, I'm better than you. I'm famous than you. My ideas are the best. Then how about different cultures? My view is always the best. my ideas, my tradition is the righteous tradition. How about religion? Look at my doctrine. Even with the same teaching, same religion, my doctrine is the ultimate one. Yours are just, very conventional. They are not the truth. How about within ourselves? Do we struggle every day? Shall I get this? Shall I grasp that? This is my son going to a better school. This is your daughter who is not as good as my son. I'm always right and you're always wrong. Struggling, conflicting, even within ourselves. How about our emotion? I get angry when somebody says something that doesn't please my ears. I got upset because years ago, somebody did something to me. So all these things contribute to suffering. We can't even make peace within our own self, let alone the outside. Why all these happen? Why all these happen? There must be some reason. It's because we don't know the truth. Unfortunately, this mind and body is confined within time and space. Anything go over and beyond that, it's not within our capability to realize that. We don't know the truth, even as much as possible that I think I know it all, but no. So what we just did is because of ignorance, we just react in accordance to our habitual pattern. This is what we call ignorance. And because of the ignorance, we crave for something that is actually not there. We averse for something that is not worth to. So the next question is, how do we eliminate those conflicts outside, inside? We have to find out the causes. What causes all these to happen? What causes us to bear the fruit of suffering? We have to find out the causes, right? If something happened, there must be a reason. And the Buddha taught us that we need to find out the cause. The cause of suffering is the second noble truth. The Four Noble Truths is the core teaching of the Buddha. But how do we practice them? First of all, we have to understand that suffering is inevitable as long as we have this body and mind. Suffering is a fact. We have to face it and accept it. Then we go to the next one, is trying our utmost best to cut off those causes that will lead to suffering. And the Buddha said that it is possible. Don't worry, it is possible to do that because he did it himself. And the way to put a stop to suffering is to practice the Noble Eightfold Path, which, if possible, I will continue to share that information with you later. But before we can practice, I mean, before we go to college, before we take a course, there are some prerequisites, right? So what are the prerequisites? We have to have some fundamental criteria to fulfill before we can go ahead. Something we call the right view at the mundane level. First, we have to know wholesomeness and unwholesomeness, right or wrong. If I don't even know that stealing is wrong, then how can I practice? Hey, you're so rich, I'm so poor. What's wrong with you going to your house and get your money and stuff? There's nothing wrong with that because you're rich, I'm poor. Not being able to differentiate what is right and what is wrong. So there are something that is wholesome, something that is unwholesome. Then we have to understand that if there is a consequence, it's a cause. If I hit somebody as a cause, he or she is going to get back to me eventually. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. So cause and consequences. And there is these 3 periods: previous, present, and future. What we did in the past, it's going to bring result in the present. What we are doing now in the present, it's going to bring result in the future. Now, so you might start to thinking about, okay, I have to believe in previous life, this life, and my future life. Yes, but not necessary so. I'll give one example. A thought arises that, I really hate this person. The thought arises, gone. Now I'm planning to do something to this person that I hate. That thought is at this present. Next thing, I'm going to hit this person. So previous thought, what I'm thinking now, what I'm going to do next, those what we can refer to previous, present, and future. So if we want to practice, don't wait. Don't wait until that, okay, after I pass away, I'm going to this Western paradise and practice. Yeah. Okay. What we have done, it's already passed. Grasp this present period and do as much as we can to practice so that we can bring a good result in the future. So this is previous, present, and future. Okay? And then we have hopes. Don't get pessimistic because Buddhism has nothing to do with pessimistic. It's very optimistic on the contrast because there is an opportunity everybody that has, not just one person, every single human beings or even any kind of sentient beings is available to practice to get from an untrained worldling, a common person, to become a sage, a wise, a liberated person. So we have to believe in that so that we can start practicing. Enough hope? I hope so. So let's go back to the core, to the causes of what brings suffering to our life. These are the 3 poisons that contribute to the suffering. First one, we know that is craving, aversion, and then ignorance. Craving and aversion is actually the two sides of the same coin, okay? They both based it on ignorance. Now we will explore more on aversion and ignorance, especially ignorance in the near future. When I plan to talk about this when I share with you the 12 links of dependent origination. So maybe wait a little bit. So some definitions, some explanation or translations. Attachment in the Sanskrit is raga, in the Pali is lobha. It's desire, sensuality, greed. Aversion is, do I pronounce this correct? Dvesa or dasa in the Pali. Anger, hatred, hostility. And then delusion, both of them are termed moha. Confusion, bewilderment, ignorance. So just a little bit of information. According to the Abhidhamma Kosa, there are 6 afflictions that we have to deal with. What are the 6? It's called attachment, anger, ignorance, pride, or conceit, doubt. This commonly referred to skeptical doubts. And then wrong view. Those are the 6 fundamental afflictions. Wrong view can also subcategorize into 5. So anger, ignorance, pride, doubt, and 5 wrong views, right? Attachment, anger, ignorance, pride, doubt, 5, plus 5 wrong views. Altogether, we refer to the 10 fundamental afflictions. Those are the terms. Terms are only words and languages. If you're interested to explore more into it, I would suggest Google. So there's lots of information and explanations online, and you can pick and choose. Make sure you go to the right side. Okay. So let's deal with the first one. Those who knows me well knows that chocolate is my #1 craving. So craving, the first bad guy here. There are some characteristics on the craving, and for explanation purposes, I'm going to use the Pali word to explain it. So what are the terms? First one is called lobha. It's greed. And chanda, desire. Prema, sincere love. Samyojana, binding. Kamaguna, desire. Raga, it's lust. Tanha is thirst and hunger. Samyudaya, this is a term that attributes the second noble truth, cause of suffering or cause of suffering to be or suffering to be. So there are various terms for craving. Let's explore them one by one. Please be patient. And then later on, I'm expecting one question from you at the end, okay, one question. So if you can start thinking about what kind of question that I'm expecting you to ask. Okay, let's start with some characteristics of craving. Lobha, greed. This is a general term for craving. Other than chanda, everything else can call lobha. This is just a general term. This is an unwholesome craving or longing for sensory pleasure. Then the next one is chanda. Oh, go back a little bit. For loba, it is an unwholesome craving to satisfy our sensory pleasure. Okay. Chanda is the opposite. Yes, it is craving. It is actually craving, but it is a wholesome craving, what we call in Chinese term, 善法欲. So a person that wants to attain nibbana is chanda, want to get dharma is chanda, want to be a wise person is chanda, wants to grab or earn a lot of money because of charity as chanda. It's not loba. But again, I have to clarify this. Craving is craving, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome. So at the mundane level, we say that yes, it is okay to have wholesome craving because this is part of our practice. But at the supra-mundane level, craving is craving. We'll deal with that later. So next one is pema. Pema is kind of a sincere love, that love between or among our family members or relatives, like our sons and daughter, husband and wife, mother, parents, and their offsprings. Those are sincere loves. Well, being that said, this is a kind of craving that it's very difficult to break off. Okay. No matter what your son or daughter, your husband do to you, husband, it's a little bit easier because we can just divorce, right? But with our offsprings, maternal mothers and fathers, very difficult to break off. Don't worry, chill, even though I said easy to get a divorce, but I'm not going to do it. He's sitting at the back there. So, but this is a kind of bondage that it's very difficult to cut off. Then the next one is called samyojana. It's a kind of binding. It's one of the 10 fetters. This kind of binding is just like a knot that tied together. Not necessarily, between or among our family members. It's like something that tangles. It's very difficult to untangle it, okay? So it's one of the 10 fetters. Even with our enemy, you think that you're my enemy. I'm not going to deal with it. I don't want to see you ever and ever. But unfortunately, one of the suffering is to come across to somebody that is not to your please. For example, I don't mean all, right? Just one example. Your boss giving you trouble day in, day out. You want to get rid of him, but you can't find a job. Find a new job. So what do? Okay. Say you have a good friend that turns into someone that you really don't like to associate with, but you're within the same social circle. You want to get rid of her or him. What do? But then sometimes you also love this enemy because they will provide a certain good environment for you. Like a boss will provide you the job. So what do? You know, those kind of tangle, it's very difficult to turn loose. So this is what we call this kind of craving or suffering, cause of suffering is called binding or samyojana. Then the next one is called kamaguna. This is kind of desire or cherish. Okay. Commonly, it's desire or cherish for the 5 sensory objects, like I go out, browse, window shopping, and I see this sparkling diamond, 5 carats. Wow, I can't take my eyes off it. Or for gentlemen who like to see beautiful ladies, or ladies who like to see handsome gentlemen. It's so pleased to the eye. Or beautiful colors like rainbow in the sky that pleases my eye. Sensory pleasure, like I taste the chocolate. Yum. So I want to have it and have it continue. How about the softness, silkiness of a kind of material or cloth on our body? So those are the very, very attractive material things that pleases our 5 sense organs. And this is called the kamaguna. Now the next one. This is a big one. It's called raga. It's called lust. Clinging and attachment, especially to sexual desire. It's clinging to the bodily touch, clinging to a person. It's just like the dye on a cloth. It's very difficult to remove. And once we taste the honey, the sweetness of it, we want more. So this is called raga. Now let's come to tanha. Anybody heard about tanha before? Yes. Tanha. Tanha, tanha, tanha. Craving, craving, craving. So this is like a person who is thirsty to death, seeking for water. It's that kind of craving that is so intense and strong. Without it, you can't survive. This is called tanha. Hold on to, not only to the pleasant experience, but the rejection to unpleasant experience also is so strong. For example, when you sit for so long, your leg hurts so much. And you tell yourself that anicca, anicca, anicca. This is just impermanent, it's going to go away. But there's this tiny little voice within the consciousness and say that, I don't want this, I don't want this pain, go away, this is pain. Okay? that we reject whatever is unpleasant, but we don't notice it. We're telling us that I'm so good, I'm sitting so well, I don't react, but the reaction is so deep inside that it's very difficult to detect. Tongue hug. I have 3 slides for tongue hug because it's so important. This is a self-centered desire based on ignorance. This is a desire that is not a wholesome desire. So 2 things, self-centered, based on I, mine, me. And then it's a desire that is not a wholesome desire. It's an unwholesome desire. Tongue hug. There's 6 types of tongue hug. Go back a little bit. Okay, 2 more explanations on this slide. Tongue hug is a principal cause for the arising of dukkha. That's the number 1 bad guy. It is also the 8th link of the 12 links of depending origination, what we call craving, love, clinging, which leads to the next one called grasping. This is tongue hug. 6 types. The eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. All of these because of the feeling that arisen from contact. When my eyes come in contact with this external object, when my eyes look at the clock on the wall and telling me that I have only 5 minutes more for my talk, eye contact, feeling arises, I have to hurry. I start to get anxiety. Oh, okay, I still have this stack to go over. What am I going to do? Okay. Eye contact, feeling arises, action and reaction. Okay. Same with the ear. If I hear this beautiful music, I will have it on day in, day out. Even before I go to sleep, I have this, iPhone on and right? Nose. I don't have to see. When I smell chocolate, I'm heading that direction. Sorry. Leave everything, the Dhamma, whatever behind. Chocolate. Okay. Not to mention that, oh my goodness, that kind of sensation that arises when the chocolate contact with my tongue. Wow, so pleasant. Okay. And then body touch. Then you ask, how about the mind? How about the mind? Okay, what happened? Oh, wow. When you sit there, meditating or not, some kind of thought comes out. What's lunch for today? Mind contact with the experience. Hey, I had tofu last time. Tastes so good. Am I going to have tofu for lunch today again? Based on mind contact to your experience before. Craving, craving, craving. Tanha, tanha, tanha. Okay? So all because of the feeling that arisen from contact. Now, when you compare, we talk about the 5 objects before when we go over the karuna, the desire and cherish. Karuna is longing for, just, I wish I had this. But the tanha is like, I have to. There's no other explanation, no other choices. I have to. So grabs comes next. Okay. Let me finish this, and then we call it the end of my talk. I'll finish my stack next time. So next one is called samyudaya. This is a term that assigned to the second noble truth, the cause of suffering or suffering to be. This is explaining what are the causes, explaining that suffering has causes. Okay, and then we need to go, over what are the suffering, what are the cravings are, the causes are. Now, it also points out that the cause of suffering is based in craving, and craving is rooted in ignorance. This is what we call samyudaya, a term that assigned it to the second noble truth. Oh. Don't forget, I'm expecting a question. Do you want to ask it now or next time?
I can ask one.
Okay.
Can you explain tanha in reference to the second noble truth, like samudaya? Where does tanha align with the second noble truth?
Tanha basically is the cause for suffering. Okay. So cause are the second noble truths, right? Causes, but there are many causes. Tanha is the most intensive and strong one. That answers your question? We can have lobha, we can have prema, we can have chanda. They all cause. But chanda, well, it's a wholesome craving. That's at the mundane level, but craving is craving, right? So we know that at the supra-mundane level or ultimate truth, even chanda, we have to get rid of it. But tanha is a bad guy. Bad. Yes?
I made a lot of dietary changes. So your reference to chocolate really made me think about this. One of the things I've done is try to eliminate sweeteners from my diet. And I have found that there's sweeteners in everything, unless you just eat clean, just fresh food. And I bought some sparkling water that I'd had before that didn't have any sugar in it. It was grapefruit flavored, and it was delicious. And I bought it again, and it was delicious. And I looked at it, and it had sugar in it. It surprised me. And so the cause is also the effect, and it was the sugar, because after I quit sweetness for about a month, I didn't really think about it too much. But then after that, then I had cravings. It was the sweetener was the actual cause. And it gets really complicated because, people want to be kind, and maybe they'll bake something for me, or, I'm going to go to a wedding next month, and at the reception, it's all going to be cake and all that. And so it becomes very complicated because I don't want to be obsessed with it. I don't want to tell people, oh, I can't have that, go to a reception and not eat anything. So how does one conduct themselves in this environment where the things that you crave are just always everywhere.
Mhm. Temptations are everywhere.
Yeah.
But for myself, I'm diabetic, diabetes. So and it's very difficult for me to refuse, sweet carbs, all those. It's to me, it's my doctor always yelled at me and say that control your sugar, control your diet. It's very difficult. So at times I will practice impermanence. So when I taste the food, yes, I satisfy my taste bud, which is lie within inside in between the tongue. That's our taste bud. And when it passed that, it actually goes through my digestive system and come back out one way or the other. So I would think about this impermanent. So what I do is just, that little moment of satisfying my taste bud, and I'm paying the consequences. So right now I'm very good at chocolate. I can tell everybody. I don't crave it anymore. I can look at it and stare at it and as if I have already taken it. So I just looked at it and said, "Good chocolate, how are you?" And then I just walk away. So I realized that anything, no matter what, it's impermanent. So what if I have that kind of taste? I only have the 1 minute or 1 second satisfaction, and it goes through my system and it's gone. So that's how I, kind of practice. So far, for the past 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, that I'm pretty successful with looking at the chocolate. Maybe they'll work. I thank you all. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be liberated. Thank you.